going to be focusing on a different type of prospecting.
Okay. What kind of prospecting?
Focusing on open houses.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm just got burnt out from calling,
Mhm.
and I need a little bit of a change.
That's
So
what I would say. Look, it's try a new strategy. So just to switch from one to the other, don't add it on, but yeah, try something new. See if that changes your mojo a little bit. That's excellent. Open houses are a wonderful thing. I always say that my number one source for listings when I was in sales, I built my business for sale by owners. And then once I had listings, the listings I had were my best source for new listings. I'll shoot you over some stuff. I got a great process around, I call it listing platinum, around when you have a listing. So you're doing it on other people's listings, I would imagine, right?
yeah, that's
Okay.
the plan.
Perfect. Yep. Watch how many listings you get from that when you follow that process. That's awesome.
I'm excited. Thank you.
I'm excited for you. Can't wait to see what pops. Anybody have anything they want to workshop or role play? Hi, Margelisa. Hi, Shari. Hi, Flora. Hi, Aurora. You guys want to watch me? You just want to watch me stand here for 30 minutes? Smile. Nobody's got anything. Well, so Samantha decided that she's going to try, she's got burnt out from prospecting and she's going to try open houses. So does anybody have anything, since she brought that up, does anybody have any language patterns or conversations that they have around open houses? So leading up to the open house, maybe calls you make to the neighborhood, door knocking around the open house, inviting neighbors. Afterwards, after you meet buyers or sellers at the open house, while you're there, afterwards, does anybody have anything?
I have my during that really works.
You're during the open house. So set the stage for us, Shari, and then we're going to put you on a spot and we're going to listen to what you have to say. And maybe if Samantha's up for it, she can be the client at the open house and she's going to be doing these things. So go ahead, Shari, set the stage.
So we've already made phone calls, door knocked, talked to the neighbors, set everything up. We're ready for the open house. And then Samantha comes in and she saw, I like to put, I have like, I don't know, I have 40 signs. I get lazy because I'm afraid I'm going to lose them. I'm also cheap because I can't get them that cheap again. So I put out as many as I can, but the consensus amongst realtors is we cannot stand putting the signs out or picking them up. Because first of all, we think we're going to get hit by a car. And second of all, they're going to disappear. And then third of all, it's hot outside. But so we put up as much signs as we can. And that, it also, when you can put it in our MLS where we are. So it goes to Zillow, Realtor.com. Everyone knows we've put it on within my company, every single site that we're allowed to put it on. We put it on Facebook. This time we had one this weekend. I actually boosted it and paid $250 in KV Core, I think it was.
So you said, what's the conversations you're having around that?
So
you have a good conversation during the open house?
Yes.
All right. So we get what you do to drive the traffic there. So you're there and you said you have a great conversation with people that visit the open houses, buyers, sellers, just anybody that walks in. Set the stage for us.
Yes. Okay. So they walk in the door and you don't ambush them and say, "Hi, I'm Shari Roberts with whatever." And you just, welcome them in, find a commonality, tell them. And I always say, so I'll just tell you a little bit about the home.
You're getting into the role play here. So the stage is somebody walks into your open house and you have a conversation with them. Great. So Samantha, do you want to be that person
that walks into the house?
Yeah. So Shari did all this. She put 1 million signs out. She advertised it everywhere. You happen to walk into this open house. She knows nothing about you. And Shari's going to take it from there. So go ahead. You want to be that person?
Yeah, I'll be the person walking through the door.
Let's see it. Go ahead. Make it happen.
Okay. Knock, 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 instead of ring, ring, right? Hi, welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for coming to the open house today. I would like to tell you a little bit about the home. It is a 5-bedroom, 5.5 bathroom. We have 2 docks. It's 4,500 square feet. It's been upgraded from head to toe, new roof, new everything. The seller was going to move in, but then the wife decided she did not want to live in the home and he bought her another house. So that's why we're selling today. Would you like me to take you through the tour today, or would you rather go by yourself?
Just by myself. Thank you though.
Okay, awesome. Just do me one huge favor. I'm going to give you this survey. The seller would love some feedback. The house hasn't been on the market for very long. I would like you to be completely honest and fill out your information as you go around the house and let me know what you think when you're done.
Okay, sure.
And then I hand her the clipboard with the pen. It's already there. It's got my logo on it and everything. And then she just walks around the house. And if she has, then when she comes back to me, that's when we get more into the conversation of, whatever question she has about the house, or I find more commonalities and find out more about her. And that's it. It's not very invasive. And every single person fills out that survey.
Perfect. And then, so Samantha walks around the house, she comes out, she hands you back the survey. Is there any further conversations that you have there? I guess you just answer questions.
Yeah. Then I dig in a little bit to where do you live? Are you renting? How did you hear about us? Oh, I saw the signs, or I saw realtor.com.
Yeah.
A lot of the answers lately have been people are renting nearby and they're looking for a place to buy instead in the neighborhood that they're renting in. That was pretty unusual. I don't usually see that, but it was a different area. So maybe that's more common there.
Yeah. Well, everyone's complaining about these high interest rates, but the rents are going up too. So the smart people are saying, I don't care if the interest rate is 7%. It's still going to be my rent is going up from 25 to 3,500. I can still buy a house for that, right? So that's cool. How do you feel about that, Samantha? Of Shari's approach?
Good. That's pretty much what I think.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. Me and Shari with
anybody else? What'd you like about that, guys? What did Shari do well? Any comments, questions around that?
Is it because we're live streaming? Everybody's like deer in headlights.
I'm just putting. So yeah, this is so I don't have to upload the recording onto YouTube later. And then because I'm just so bad at that. I got so many things, man. But so here's the deal. I think Shari, I like that she gave the alternative choice, right? So hey, would you like me to walk? Here's some information about the house. Go ahead and take a look. Would you prefer that I join you on the tour, or to take a look on your own? And then kind of giving them the option to do that. And I think that was really cool. Jari.
Hey, Chris. I like Shari's intro. I'm a little different in my open houses. In the fact that once a person comes in, I introduce myself, I thank them for coming. And once I get their first name or whatever cordially, I go into the same catch and grab as Shari.
Yeah.
And give them a description of the property, saying, hey, listen, I can give you a guided tour, or you can walk around freely. If you have any questions, please let me know. But before you do that, our sellers have requested that we show them proof that we're doing our job. And the way we can only do that is if, you go ahead and register through the open house for us to show our sellers that, we're actively engaging with people who are coming in from the community and we're doing our job as we promised.
Yeah. New York, we used to check IDs. So do you, and so you have them registered, use a registration sheet, or is there I imagine you have like some kind of app or something.
I have a tablet. It's called a Samsung View. It's a really big tablet. It's like a big screen TV, but it's touchscreen. And what I do is I connect it with KB Core and use the Zapier of Open House 123 Main Street. Okay. So once they register, it'll ask them a couple questions, their name, email, phone number. Are you working with an agent? Do you live in the area? Just some basic information. And boom, they go straight into KV Core. It tells them, thank you, your information has been logged. And I thank them again. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to us that we can show that we're doing a good job for our clients.
It's awesome.
And that's the way, that is one way. So what Samantha and I are following is a whole nother 17-part open house, script and everything. So that's why we did that. And just so you know, also, with saying they don't think I'm doing my job, and it kind of puts them in a weird, this way I'm like, can you do me a favor? Just fill this out and I'll set you free. What I also do is if I have younger people, kids, at least even if they're just old enough to make circles, I say, listen, you have a big responsibility. I need you to fill this. And 14-year-olds who can't stand being at open houses with their parents, they're very engaged. They're like, ooh, I've seen boys, 14-year-old boys are the worst. And I have one. And, they take it really seriously and they actually fill it out. And it's almost like to me, it just seems like it's a less invasive way. And I've almost all the phone numbers and emails are right. Where I say to them, if you have an agent, please put your agent's information down here instead of yours. That's fine. And it's just like less attack mode. Let's just say that.
So yeah, there's all kinds of different ways to do it, and I know some people they don't let anybody in without checking an ID. And, in New York, we have to get those agency disclosures signed before we even engage with them and stuff like that. But I did something similar as a hybrid. I would get them to fill out a survey and I would say, hey, fill out the survey. You don't have to do it. But if you do it, you get a $500 credit towards your closing costs when you buy or sell a house with me. And also when I did open houses, I had a rider on the sign outside that said, if you buy this house today, I'll sell yours for free. So just different, and I had food and I had music and different gimmicks to make people feel really super comfortable. And when they walk in, I let them know that I'm their favorite realtor. Hey, I'm Chris, your favorite realtor. You probably don't know me. You probably don't have a favorite yet, but why not be me? So let me know. Just take a look around. I know you don't want me hovering over your shoulder, pointing at the toilets, saying, this is the bathroom. So you're smart enough to figure that out, right? Let me know if you have any questions beyond, is this the bathroom or the kitchen? So I'll be here waiting for you. So that's, it's just, kind of having fun with it. I think you have to be authentic right from the start with an open house, because you're on stage. People don't know. They're like, do I tell them that I'm selling? I don't want to disclose any information. They feel like they're dealing with a salesperson. So
no, it's like being a bartender. It's the same thing. That door opens, you're on.
Yeah,
you're on.
You want to connect quickly, and and everybody does that differently. However, on the other side of that, it is important that you get people to sign in or register at some point and get the information. You don't want like random people walking around your seller's house. Then also on the other side of that is you don't want to scare people away and make them feel uncomfortable by chasing them down with forms right away. So how do you do that, man? It's really, it's part art, part science. And I find that when you've got food there or beverages, they kind of hang out in the front a little bit longer, and you can have these conversations. Hey, look, I got this survey. If you fill it out, I'll give you a $500 credit towards your closing costs if you buy a house with me. And by the way, if you have a house to sell and you buy this one today, I'll list yours for free, right? So go take a look. I'll talk to you about that afterwards. And these are just things that are very personal decisions. Hey, what's up? J-Man Jeremiah Monero is here. Hey, so we're talking about open houses. Does anybody else have any language patterns or conversations that they have leading up to the open house to drive traffic there? Maybe if you door knock around your open house, I know I would call all around. When I listed a property, just listed postcards would go out to 200-300 homes. I would also pay an extra $25 and get the phone numbers for those houses. Whatever phone numbers I had, I would call them within the next couple of days. They get my postcard. They get a phone call from me inviting them to a nosy neighbor open house, because I know they're the neighbors, right? So, hey, look, I'm having open house from 1 to 3. I'm going to have a nosy neighbor open house from 12 to 1. I know you want to look at it anyway. You don't have to pretend you're a buyer. Just come. I'll have some food. I got a steel pan player there. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. I'm going to be doing raffles if you fill out a survey. So then I have, sometimes I'll have my mortgage person. If somebody fills out the survey, right, I ask financing questions on it. And I have my mortgage person would raffle something off. At the time it was like an iPad or a tablet, something like that, right? This is how long I've been selling real estate. There was a time when I did an open house and the mortgage person was raffling off a Palm Pilot. If you guys remember any of this. But
Oh my God, I totally do. Before can I just say one thing? This is so cool.
say two things if you like.
No, thank you. They, one family showed up in a yacht, parked the yacht at the dock and walked in through the house backwards. It was the coolest thing. I know it's very like, I don't know, like, I guess I'm not used to dealing in that area, but it was the neatest thing. So I definitely took a picture of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's look, there's all kinds of cool things that happen too. And by the way, open houses, great opportunity for video engagement. I know J-Man goes to his open houses early, does that like live. Yeah, you used to do it anyway. Those live walkthroughs and stuff and kind of generating traffic. So there's all kinds of I know, and the reason why I'm talking about this is because so many agents, when I was selling real estate, my seller wants me to do an open house every weekend. I'm like, oh man, you got to get out of the office and throw a party in someone's house so you can meet more sellers and buyers. How terrible. I'm sorry that they're forcing you to do an open house. And by the way, I don't know your policy on this, guys, sellers home or not home. I buy my sellers movie tickets the day of the open house. I show up and I say, hey, go see a matinee on me. We're going to make a mess. We're going to clean it up. We might sell this thing today, but I don't want you here to botch it up. That's the rule. So, and you guys got to be very clear on your expectations. Oh my God, vacant. Yes, Sherry. Look, everyone's got different policies on that. In New York, in Queens, I have very controlling sellers that people like, they insist on being there. They want to be there for showings. They want to be there for the open houses. It always backfired on me. So I had to create a model, really strict expectations. This is not, unfortunately, I don't work that way. That was my number one script. Unfortunately, don't work that way. I understand how you feel. Unfortunately, I don't work that way. So, and guess what? They'll still work with you. And so establish that control from the beginning. What else? Anything else around open houses? And then we can move to another conversation here. Going once, going twice. J-Man, what do you got?
I was going to say, similar to you, we would send out postcards. The postcards with the just listed, but on the just listed would also have the date of the open house, the time, and then neighbors don't, like you said, if the open house was from 1 to 3, we'd have neighbors only from 1:30 to, exclusive neighbors only preview from 1:30 to 2. So they can come in, we can have, just like you said, have conversations. They don't have to pretend to be buyers. You can learn about the neighborhood. We can learn about your seller. And anything else that's important. And
if you're going to be doing lunch, you can have them register in advance. So now with technology the way it is, guys, I told you I built a single property site for all of my listings, and you can have a QR code on that postcard, say register ahead of time to be entered into a raffle to win something, whatever's happening. If you register today to make sure that we have a sandwich for you or whatever that is, and you could get a little list going from the neighbors before you even, if they don't come, if they show up or not, you now built your list with some neighbors. And so it's that postcard. I piggyback the postcard with a phone call, right? And a phone call was, just, hey, I just want you to have the first choice in selecting your new neighbor. I just want you to know, we just listed the house. The sign didn't even go up yet, but we're doing a nosy neighbor open house. Oh yeah, Chris, I got your postcard. Cool. So can we expect to see you there? I know you want to see it anyway. Come take a peek, eat a sandwich on me. It's all good, right? And then I would, on the neighborhood, the weekend, the day of or the day before, I would do door hangers. And my door hangers would say, you're invited, and had like a golden ticket on it, right? And then it had a perforated business card at the bottom. That was kind of just, people would come in with that door hanger, like they actually needed that to enter the open house. It was an opportunity to have conversations with neighbors. So just take advantage of this. I think it's a good opportunity. And if you guys if you don't have listings, talk to someone in your office, an agent in the area that you want to work, that you like, and you like the property. And here's another tip. If you're going to hold open houses, Samantha, you're getting into this, look for houses in price points where they are not going to be first-time home buyers. Why? Why do I say that?
Get a listing too.
Get a listing too.
Okay. But I was also going to say, though, in the price point, depending on what your market is, like in my area, yes, funny, haha, I know, everyone loves it when I say that word.
Tell us Boston.
In the market in this area, if it's like even in the 500 range, they're selling more, or I mean, they're not selling as quickly, or people are gonna more likely have agents than if
Mm.
they're like in the 3 range or even like low 4s. Like that's the average price point in this market anyways. So I just feel like you're gonna get more people in and probably less people that have agents or knowledgeable.
Yeah, so that makes sense. I call them all orphan buyers too. Like sometimes they don't have agents. And I know in Florida, it's much more common for you. People send agents, people send buyers to open houses, and then buyers are like, hey, I have an agent. Samantha sent me. And then Sherry's like, oh, okay, have a look. But in New York, if you send a buyer to an open house without you being there, they get salty. Like if you don't, like I've had agents call me and be like, how dare you send this buyer? What, you're so lazy. What, you don't want to work weekends? And I'm like, yo, relax. You relax. That does happen. So it's sometimes it's good to
They
give
steal them.
Huh?
They steal them.
They try
Well-
but they try to steal them, but I'm so damn good. And I list the buyers and I give them rebates, all kinds of fun stuff. And they want my closing gifts and they want to go to the closing in a limousine. So do they work with them?
Yeah.
No, they don't. They
And
don't
in
work.
Florida too, don't forget, I mean, there's the knuckleheads that even my best friends, I'm like, oh, we went to an open house today. I'm like, what?
Mm.
So they go without you a lot.
Yeah, well, that happened. That happened to me one time. I had friends, they popped into a house in the neighborhood. They weren't even considering it was an open house. And then they let me know and I was like, oh no, why'd you do that? Because they wanted to make an offer. And then I called the agent. She's like, Chris, I'm okay with it. I know they're working with you. And I'm like, I didn't send them. Sorry. She's like, I'm totally cool with it. Nobody else is looking at this house. We needed some people from Queens to come out to Nassau to look at this and appreciate it. So I ended up, that was a nice one that I did, but they're not always like that. So anything else around open houses? Anybody have any really good dialogues or language patterns or conversations that they have leading up to it, during, or after?
On your downtime.
Go ahead, Jose.
No, on your downtime before an open house, create CMAs for a 5-house radius.
Mhm.
So when you knock on their door, you can say, hey, look, I'm do this open house. And just in case you're wondering about your home worth, here it is. I took the liberty to do it for you. What's your email?
Yeah.
And
So,
boom.
I used to do a general market report, like just kind of the radius, like just kind of what's sold in the area, what's on the market, and just have it there in a little laminated book so that they wouldn't take it with them. They just see it and like it. Is that kind of like, and you would do a CMA for just based
5
on
houses.
like just for 5? I got you.
Yeah, like to the left and to the right, knock on their door, reason to knock.
That's
And
awesome.
then I capture, at least an email. And if I'm lucky, I get email and number.
That's right. Yep. And then you call them until they list or die. I know how you do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, Flora, I saw you unmuted for a second, heard a little voice come through. What do you got for us?
No, so for my open houses, what I like to do is like invite people over. Those are the easiest phone calls to do because it's not like they're like, no, I'm not trying to be sold. I'm like, I'm not actually trying to sell you anything. So they're like, huh? And then I'm like, yeah, I like to, I'm hosting an open house this Saturday from 12 to 4. I would love for you to come over. What I need to start doing is what I've heard a lot of people say, like a nosy neighbor open house. I really like that idea. I just because that's the way you probably get future sellers.
Yeah.
And I need to host that part, but I like to do that. And another tip that I got from my old broker, she said, to help with conversations when you're doing an open house, print out like the day of, and that price range of that open house, similar homes that are active.
Yeah.
And have that printed out with you. And then if they want only one copy, and if they want a copy and they didn't really sign in, then you're like, I need your email address. I can send that over to you.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out. We call that a switch book, right? So sometimes, especially when people, so most of the people came into my open houses from the signs, right? I'm putting out 15 or so signs around the house. Sometimes people walk into the open house and they don't know the price. They don't know anything about it. So what Flora's talking about, kind of having like some switch, like listings that are on the market. So say you're asking 500 for your open house and they're like, oh, we're looking to spend up to 350. Then you have something in a lower price point, or you have something in a higher price point with more bedrooms. Oh, we really like this house, but this is 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. We'd really like 2 full baths. Well, look, I have this right here that's on the market. So having those ready to go, either printed out in the little book. I would have a switch book for all of my listings. Every single listing, I would have a little 3-ring binder back in the day with laminated listing pages in it of stuff, other things in the area that were appropriate for someone to see if they were coming into that house. So yep, that's a very, very good idea. Excellent, guys. Good stuff. Anything else? Anything else around open houses? I
No,
don't
I
think we have
think
time for another full role play, but go ahead for it.
not open houses, but can you like, I'm struggling with my cold calling with Facebook. Like I've been cold calling Facebook. I've only converted one and over a year, and I know people have a lot more success than I do. And I struggle like when they ask me questions that I should have a rebuttal for, like I have a buyer. I like, even though like I've heard this one is like rebuttal that I like to use, you know, I haven't seen your house. Houses are like people is what it said that counts, and try to go from there. But I just sometimes I just blank out or freak out. I don't know if I go in panic mode.
Yeah. So and sometimes it's just a question. So they're like, you're calling a FSBO and you're asking to go see the house, and they're asking if you have a buyer, and you kind of like don't know how to respond.
Yeah, those are my two biggest hurdle. I have a buyer, or like my daughter's an agent, my mom's an agent, my stuff like that. Like those are my two big like stuff.
So I mean,
that's
what
not getting it past.
The I have a buyer thing, it's always look, you just got to be if you're super clear on how you work, which I was super clear on how I work, and one of the ways that I didn't work was bringing a buyer to a listing without somebody agreeing to something, right? So it's just a matter of conversing. Sometimes it's just a question. Do you have a buyer? I might. When's a good time to come take a look at the house? Well, you're going to bring the buyer? No, unfortunately, I don't work that way. Can I explain to you why? Can I explain to you why? It's both in New York, it was illegal to bring a buyer and seller together unless you first disclosed to both people with an agency disclosure who you were representing. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, here, let me explain to you how I work, right? So yeah, I may have a buyer. Let me explain to you how it's worked. There's 3 ways we can work together. Then you explain it to them. Just give them a general overview, enough for them to want to say yes to an appointment. So, and I'll show you how that works when we get there. Well, I don't want to let you unless you bring the buyer. Well, I'm not going to bring a buyer unless we first meet and we come to some sort of an agreement. So do you want to sell your house or not? It's then we won't be working together. And I'm sure there's agents bringing buyers, and let me guess, none of them made offers. Yeah, sounds about right. So that you just got to be solid in the way you work and really understand your process and explaining it, getting really good at articulating that. And you only want to explain half of it on the phone, enough to them to say yes to an appointment. Then you're going to elaborate when you guys get together and meet, you know, let's get together for 15 minutes. I'll explain to you how that works. Here's the different ways we can work together. A, B, and C, right? What makes sense for you, right? Because it's either an open listing where they're agreeing to pay you a commission if you generate a buyer, or you have a buyer agency agreement where the buyer's agreeing to pay you a commission. Or sometimes you do an exclusive agency listing, right? Where you list the property and you still give them the opportunity to sell on their own, right? And just ask them questions that make them say yes. If I did produce a buyer, if we meet and we decide to work together on an open listing basis and I produce a buyer that gave you what you were looking for, doesn't require you to sign a listing agreement or even pay a commission. I mean, would you accept an offer from that buyer? Oh yeah, I would. Excellent. When can we meet to discuss it further? Are you going to bring the buyer? No, I'm not. When's a good time for us to get together? Right? If you want me to bring a buyer immediately, if they insist on bringing a buyer, guess what? I'm going to have to, let me explain to you how that works. In order for me to walk the buyer through the door before meeting you, I have to list them as a buyer client, which means I'm going to be working for them. The people that list, the buyers I list are investors. So are you looking to sell your house at a discount? I'd be happy to produce a buyer for you today. Oh, no, you're not? Okay. It's another thing in New York, you get those wise guys that are like, are you a buyer? Are you going to buy my house? I'm like, I'll make you an offer today. Today, I will make you an offer. When's a good time for me to come see it? Oh, you're going to buy my house. I don't know. Let me take a look. I buy houses, right? And then what will I offer them? I will always offer them 80% of appraised value, right? So that's just the way it works. But I'm glad we had this conversation, guys. So next week, if you guys always, if there's something particular you're struggling with, like Flora had these things with FSBOs, you can always just respond to my email. It's really me that sends them and reads them and responds. I should, sometimes people say, oh, it's really you. And I'm like, yes, in a world of artificial intelligence, there's real people having conversations on the other end of it. It's not my staff. It's not a robot. Just let us know what you need and we'll knock it out of the park. Okay.